Welcome to Wisdom with Will. This is the second episode. And today, we got the great Ayana Johnson here. Licensed mental health therapist, author, inspirational speaker, a woman of many movements, podcaster, just a great person. Welcome, Ayana. How you doing?
Thank you.
All right.
I'm good. I'm glad to be here.
It's good. We're glad to have you. So where you from, Ayana? You want to tell the viewers where you from?
South Bend, Indiana.
South Bend, Indiana.
Yeah. What you know about that?
Well, I got a couple people in Harvey, Illinois.
Okay, then.
So my uncle used to stay in Indiana. Yeah.
I think I read that in your book. Did you
Yeah.
have that in your book?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I used to go to White Castles.
Ooh,
I was
see,
big on that.
y'all know nothing about white castle down here.
Yeah.
Y'all eat that trash.
Yeah. We did that
yeah.
a lot. Me and my sisters, like we used to drive
The best, right?
coming from where we coming from where we was coming. We used to come from Covington all the way to Chicago. My granddad used to drive us. He used to come all the way, man. I said in the book, come all the way back, then we'd go all the way. And he always knew that we liked it. White Castles, Crystals, and had the chicken rings.
Crystals have
So
nothing
that's what
on
they,
White
yeah,
Castle.
no,
Period.
it's like
Just the
something,
food
it's like
is
something
just
fresher.
the bootleg
It's
version
the
of
energy.
it.
Yeah, it's the energy.
It's a great value.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Crystal, sponsor me though, Crystal. I'm with you. If you want to get up, you feel me? For sure, you know what I mean?
Yes, period.
So, I mean, just checking you out. I see you're author of 4 books. We'll get to that later. You know what I mean? But I see just on your journey. I see you. I read a couple of your books, and Ruthless and Trusting God when there seems to be no reason to. I just got into that one, and I've got like a few more, and it's cold. I suggested people to get that on Amazon. But coming up as a kid, a teenager, did you see yourself, getting this close to God, writing 4 books, or, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure you had dreams and goals, but I read in this book I just talked about, you say you didn't really grow up in the church. You said that but you had love for God. And a lot of us really be knowing it, like if we go do something and we like, dang, I know God want me to do something else, but we still do it.
Yeah.
And we still do it, but then the success don't get to the level we want to get to. That's when we get tired. So, how did you really realize that? Because they got some great stories you told
Oh
me.
man, that's like a really broad question, but for me, it just really started like wanting a different life. I initiated the thought of becoming closer to God because I wanted to give my son a life that I've never had before. And not only that, like I knew that his dad was going off to prison. My dad was in and out of prison. My brother was in and out of prison. Like every man on both sides, I couldn't like see a man that's doing something positive with their lives. And now here I am with a 3-year-old son, and I'm looking at him like, I got to change this. Like I have to do this for him.
Right.
Because he's going to follow the same path of what the other men have. So that's really how it initiated it. When he turned 3, I started seeing him like play with paper like he was smoking weed.
Really?
And I was like, yeah, I can't. I got to change it. And so from that moment on, I started initiating the thought. And I believe that once you initiate that thought and you like your heart is really in it, then God will meet you there. And so from that day forward, when I started thinking about it, the Lord started bringing people in my life that will encourage me or inspire me to see life differently, right? Because we get caught up in this little box, wake up. For me, it was like wake up, smoke, go to work, maybe go hang out a little bit, club on the weekends, come back, smoke. Like it was that was just my life.
Yeah.
And I wanted more. I wanted more.
I've
You know what I
been-
mean? Like I
Jesus
wanted
Christ.
more.
Yeah.
And so God would start bringing people in my life. And so one day, really make a long story short, I was in this apartment with my friends, and we was all getting high. And at that time, it was like ecstasy pills. We were all popping pills.
Popping beans. Ain't that
Popping
what they say?
beans. And so
They like to call it.
I just, we always taking the pill. And there was a person in the room that was like, we don't know what's in these pills. We could die today or whatever. So when he said that, he said it in a jokingly way, but I heard a voice say, are you ready to die?
Dang, it's something.
I never had a relationship with God, but I knew I heard that voice, right? So I went in the toilet and I was like, I don't know what that was about, but I'm not about to die. And I threw it in the toilet.
Not to cut you off, to get back to that, I know just to tell the viewers, my brother said that when he got shot, he said when he ran, he had a hole in his arm. He said he was running. And it's one of the best spirits. I ain't never really got too much spiritual from him about that, but that's one of the best spirits. He said he was in the back seat wrapping his arm up. And he said, man, little bro, God, like, man, he said, you want to die? He said he heard that same voice. He said he heard a voice so clear. Are you ready to die yet? And he said he kept saying, no, I don't want to die. I
Yeah.
don't want to die.
Yeah.
And he said he seemed like he got to the hospital, like he never really felt, like, not to say he felt, but he really just, like God had really hollered at him. So that's some deep. So keep going. I ain't mean to just
Yeah,
like to
no,
speed off
no,
what you talking about.
that's the power that, really does exist, and it is available to all of us. So on that day, we had like a picture. I was living in an apartment with friends. We were roommates, and we had like a picture of God. You know how like black people, they'll have a picture of God in their house, but don't
Yeah.
nobody really serve him,
Well,
worship him, talk to
They
him.
just put him on there.
It's
Talk to
decoration.
him with the same.
So we had a decoration portrait
Then tell us the sermon.
at the dining room table.
They tell him he looking at us when we do something wrong.
Look out. You feel guilty.
Okay, go ahead.
Right.
Okay, good.
So
Go ahead.
I happened to walk past that portrait one day, and I was like, "Hold up!" I feel
It felt
like
a little weird,
I
didn't
felt
it?
like it was a connection with that portrait. So I just got on my knees. That day, I got on my knees. Nobody was in the apartment. I lifted up my hands, and I was just like, "Can you save me?" That's literally how all this transpired. Can you save me? And at that moment, I didn't realize that I was confessing my sins, and he knew I was ready. Because it's one thing to say with your mouth, but in your heart, when your heart and your mind is in alignment, God is initiating the process. And so that's what was happening in that moment. And then within 48 hours, like I couldn't even smoke a cigarette. I used to smoke packs of cigarettes. I couldn't take the taste anymore. He removed the taste. He removed the desire to smoke weed. Like I would be around people and they'd be like, stop faking, hit the blunt, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, girl, I don't want to
A lot of people
freaking,
scared of it.
I'm
They
good.
scared. Yeah, they scared
Right,
too though.
yeah.
They know they scared. They scared to say that one little prayer
And
about
who
it.
wants to feel sick though? Like you said.
Yeah,
if you
I was
took away
like-
the taste, why do something that I'm not gonna be okay with?
But the thing is, they didn't understand that.
Right.
They like, what? What do you mean the taste is gone? So he had to remove those people. I had to totally remove the circle of people that I was around, and literally it's been up since then.
And that thing about that I was telling people, that's one of my biggest journeys, man. I look at people that I've been around, nothing wrong with them. They good people, you know what I mean? They all right. They just went the journey that we supposed to go on together.
Right.
And it's like certain friendships I had, and when they do certain things to me, I'm like, okay, I'll show you I'm smarter. I can out-vicious you. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing that and doing vicious stuff to him, and you know what I mean? I'm really setting myself up for more karma with him. Instead of seeing the red flags that we don't align, it ain't
Right.
that everybody a bad person.
There you go.
What his vision is ain't my vision.
Yeah,
But once
yeah.
you piss me off, I'm gonna show you that okay then, and it set me back. It set me back in so many ways. Like I've been on a sexual fast. Like I'm talking to you about that. You feel me? A lot of these guys ain't seen what I've seen in that era. Not saying a lot of them, but I've seen some things when it comes to a woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to get into that and say I want to start doing it for them, not say I want to just, I ain't gonna say get in here and lie on no what's the name. Say I
Right.
want to stop doing that. But it's
Right.
like to a point where it was like, it was making me. It was like, man, she fine. I'm gonna knock her down. And I knock her down. What she got to offer me? Now I'm getting to this level in my life. I don't want to just. It don't really like. If I go to a strip club, I'm probably just looking at the stripper like, man, what's wrong with bro? I'm at that point now. I'm getting there. I got a little, but I'm getting there. I've had events happen in the last few months that I couldn't believe happened.
Right.
And he was testing me. You feel what I'm saying? I tell dude. So it's just, he takes that out you. He takes that out your mouth.
Because-
the taste of stuff or just anything.
Because it's in your heart, like you genuinely want the change.
Yeah, you want something new.
You genuinely want it. Like he judges our hearts. And so one person could be beside you like, yeah, bro, I'm trying to do that too. I'm trying to stop messing with these bros or whatever.
But if they really is, I tell you that, cause not to put no, but you know what I'm saying? If people really trying to change, yes, you go at him. And I tell niggas it's scary, cause I be knowing even if I could do something. If I can go out in the night and go do something later on. You know what I mean? But when you really trying to change, I got something from my little cousin. You know what I'm saying? Rich, he was telling me one time, he was like, man, surgery. We were talking. He was like, surgery, it hurt, don't it? When
I
they
remember
say
you
have
telling me that.
surgery hurt. Imagine you having it without no medicine. You
Yeah.
just stay up and they just give you surgery. Ain't it gonna hurt? So that's what life is.
Yeah.
Pretty much so. You gonna sit there, you going through the process, and it hurt. You ain't going to get excited about the same. Your signal don't even go up. You know what I mean? When you want to do certain things, you might want to chase after this woman. You want to chase after that, you might want to do something crazy. I might want to rob this nigga because I ain't got no money. But you know how it is. You done said some certain thing like, man, I know I'm finna go straight to jail. 'Cause you know, I just told God I ain't doing it no more.
Yeah.
Like you living you're double-minded. I ain't trying to be double-minded. I want to be successful and break the generational curses. That's
Amen.
you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
So with these wonderful 4 books, you want to tell me like where you was at in your process in your life? Ruthless was the first one. So where you was at in your life? Like where you was at?
Yeah, so Ruthless was first. So when I wrote my first book, I was struggling bad. Like I had a relationship with God. By this point, it was literally after He had removed all those people out of my life. I started, me and my son moved into a brand new apartment. Like He had really blessed me, and it literally came from Him. I didn't have the resources,
you telling me that.
but it just happened. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So once I got in that apartment and I really started to see, okay, God, you've removed all these people. You removed the weed.
Right.
You removed the men. What the hell is next? Like,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest. And He's like, it's time to get busy for me. Write a book. I'm like, write a book? But you just told me to, like, I just got fired from my job.
Mm-hmm.
And basically my heart was telling me not to work again.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm sitting in this apartment and I don't have any money, but He's saying, write a book. Obedience. So I was obedient and I wrote my first book, Ruthless. So Ruthless came from the biblical story of Ruth.
Right.
So before I wrote the book, it's so important, like when you are in a quiet season of your life and there's a lot of things going on, and instead of like initiating the thought or really diving into what appears to be the struggles that's going on, like if you could really tap into like what's happening versus like what's happening to you, but more like what's happening for you.
Mm-hmm.
So what was happening for me during that time, God was like developing a woman inside of me that I didn't know existed, or I didn't even know that I needed. So He was first, before Ruthless book, He was saying, I was led to read the biblical story of Ruth. So I just started reading Ruth, and I started realizing how much Ruth was like me.
Mm-hmm.
I started realizing that. So I wrote Ruthless. That was the first book. Ruthless is women having less of the characteristics of Ruth. Ruth is the like ideal biblical woman.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's bold, she's faithful, she's beautiful. She sacrificed her life for God. She waited on God for her husband. You know, like she went through so many trials and tribulations, but she just learned to lean on God. So just really helping women to really identify those strong characteristics as a woman.
Okay.
And
Man.
so after that, it was The Ratchet Road to Righteous. So this one,
I like that title. I like that title.
so this one, obviously, like this was for, the people that I could relate to during that time. Like I started realizing like, damn, my life is like really changing. I'm starting to see things differently. I don't have an appetite for certain things or certain people anymore. And so God was like, during that time, He was saying every year I should be writing a book. So The Ratchet Road to Righteous was really highlighting my journey of how everything transpired from one lifestyle to the next.
Mm-hmm. Hey, talking. Hey, I love it. I'm just letting I'm enjoying it.
Trusting God when there seems to be no reason to. When I first initiated my entrepreneurship, I was an entrepreneur when I wrote Ruthless. I just didn't have no money.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got to the Ratchet Road, trusting God when there seems to be no reason to.
That's that thing.
Right?
That's that thing.
That's when I started making a little money, but I still was struggling. I was still like not where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
So I help people to really, this is for people who really need to like learn how to trust God in the process when things seem to be going against you, right?
You at a great spot right now, though. This way, the turn up spot right here.
And then this the pieces of success, where I was able to highlight all my aspects of success, because I do believe at this point I feel like I'm successful.
I know. I'm
I feel like I don't feel like I've reached my peak, but I definitely and you won't reach your peak until the day you leave this earth, right?
Right. Okay.
But I feel like I'm at a place where all the seeds that I've sown all throughout the years, all the time that I've invested, all the sacrifices that I've made, and not just externally, but more internally, like really being obedient to God, really putting Him first. If He say let go of somebody, like letting them go. If He say not to go back to that place, don't go back. Like, and really like planting seeds, paying my tithes and offerings. People don't realize the power in that. Okay, discipline.
Now that you say
And
that,
that's highlighting that.
now that you say that, because I did that. And no matter what, I get some money, and no matter, and I get it, and I did that this past week. He told me to start back, but I don't really pay him in church all the time. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I pay him to people. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing.
He put me that's what he put on my heart every single time, like strong. And it's
So
like,
here's the thing. You know what that reminds me of?
I get a whole 10%
If I tell my
somebody.
son Malachi to clean his room,
Right.
and he say, and then I go in there and I see his room is not clean. I'm like, what's up? Why you didn't clean your room? Well, Ma, I took the trash out. But that's great. Congratulations. But that's not what I told you to do. So you have to be careful about that. Like, is he telling you to plant it in the church, or is he telling you to plant it in other people's pockets? Because paying your tithes mean tithing to the church.
Okay.
But again, if he's giving you specific instructions to give it to other people, then that's okay.
Yeah,
but it's all personal.
Yeah, it's all personal for me.
Yeah, so
He told me
make
don't boast
sure
about
you
it.
make
Oh,
it.
could never post it.
No, what I mean is like,
yeah, I could never be like, how niggas do on social media. I just did. I could say this, and I ain't got to say the building. I ain't got to say the building I was at, but it was thirsty, and she had a can right there. And when she looked in her can, it was a wad. You know what I mean? That was my temp. It was a wad. She was like, man, God told me to do it. I don't care about you believing me. You know what I mean? I walked out, but he been telling me to give it to her for so many times, but it's like some days I just wouldn't even pay none. But it when the right time for me to give, I seen her in there working. She was working her tail out, grabbing this and that. And when she got up, she like, she still was so nice to me. My spirit was letting me know. My spirit, I'm like, God, if you talking to me, you clear this. Because one dude beside me, he knew me. He made him get on out the door. But damn, my phone ring. Like he couldn't hear it. Like his phone went out. He went on out the door. I dropped it in there for her. She gave him the food and ended up looking. And I just never tried to boast or brag. Just got up out of there. I don't care to see her for a while. I just hope that lay on and I hope it helped her. So it's beautiful.
well, that's a word for your audience. Don't be going on social media and saying, "Oh, I helped out bro over here. I just
I've
gave
done it like
the
when I
people.
was doing cornball
I
days
just
myself.
did that." But no, because literally, like that's your reward.
Yeah.
That's what the Bible talks about. Like if you're gonna go on a corner and you're gonna help somebody out, that is your reward in that moment. You don't have to even worry about getting a reward from God. Like that's your reward.
Okay.
So.
Okay, I see. So you say Ruth, resembling Ruth. You want to tell us about that organization?
Oh, resembling Ruth. So Ruth, right? We're back to the story of Ruth. So when I came up with resembling Ruth, I was actually heavy in church during this time. And I say heavy, I put emphasis on heavy because that's just where God started me. Like once I started my journey, I was just led by my friend was a Jehovah's Witness. And she was like, I was like, you know what, man, I think I need to start going to church. And she was like, well, I'm a Jehovah's Witness, but if I went to church, it'd be this church. So she pointed me to Exousia Lighthouse. That's my church. And so during that time,
yeah, I go there with you, son. I go there. I've been.
you
I'm
done felt the spirit
Yeah,
up in there, and it's not like.
Yeah, he left me a message. This pastor left me a real message about my career for this year. And it's starting to do that.
Oh, you gonna get that if you go in there.
Yeah,
you gonna get that
for
revelation.
Sure. I like that. Okay, so
yeah, we're resembling Ruth. During that time, it was like a singles ministry that they was having me run. And so while women were coming in and I was talking to the women and they were all single and I was talking to them. And then I started noticing like women come in that's not single, they married or they're divorced or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, nah, this needs to be for all women. So I decided to create my own organization aside from that because their organization was called Ruth Singles. So I was like, okay, I need to resemble Ruth and make this like a thing to bring women in, to encourage them, to help them to ultimately see their beauty in Christ. So yes, so this year I am going on my first actual tour for Resembling Ruth second annual conference. Last year was the first conference that I hosted in Atlanta where women from all over came out. It was so amazing, such a life-changing experience.
I've seen that too.
And so, yeah, this year God has blessed me to be able to be in California. And I think that location is in November. And then I have one in St. Lucia in September. And then Atlanta is August. And then my hometown is first, which is South Bend. That one is in June.
When San Diego?
June. The one in San Diego is November.
I'm going to
Yeah, that
so I'm
one's
gonna support you on that. I'm catching catching a flight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out there and support you on that one. So, you speaking of your organization, I like the one you had, which had you your son. I seen the flyer with your son. It's a day without dad. You want to explain what's that about?
So, A Day Without Dad is a movement that I started for women that's raising boys by themselves due to an incarcerated father.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, like I told you all in the beginning, when I first changed my life, it was really, a lot of people be like, oh, a child changed me. But no, my child, like, really changed me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not to diminish it for no one else, but for me, like, I know that it was the initiation of me saying, look, you got to get it together for this boy. So his dad got sentenced to 20 years in prison. He had to do 12, so I knew he would be gone for a long time. During that time, I knew I wanted to, like, he's my high school sweetheart. So I was like, I'm gonna stay and I'm gonna, we're gonna figure this thing out. I was young, trying to like be committed to the situation. But during that time,
during that time, because I'm gonna flash a picture in, and it's gonna flash in. On the left side of the picture, it's crazy. Your heart knew, like, when we met, I just got out of prison. I met you. We was working together, and you was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm like,
yeah,
I just had got out of prison. I don't want to hear that.
yeah,
Be that man
you
friend.
didn't
I'm
believe,
like, all right,
yeah.
So it's like a couple years later, you was like, yeah, I'm still like writing him and checking on him, and it's just because that's how something can do when somebody incarcerated that long after over
And
a decade.
visits every
But when
weekend.
you found but
Every
when
weekend.
when you found God, like it's like for real, it was a different when you was talking about it. You know what I'm saying? You was focused on your son, seeing him every weekend, like you said, but you was so focused on your goal that most women don't be. When they like, I ain't around with it. I'm gonna say it like this. I ain't riding with that nigga. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
too long for me.
Yeah.
Because they thinking about the satisfaction. You would think you satisfying your life for God once you live for satisfaction. So I understood that, and that's beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't like I'm gonna be here for him because I love him, or I'm not gonna be here for him because I don't want to. It was more like this is a God thing. Like
Right.
this is what I'm feeling like I'm led to do, and I believe that he's in a place in his life, even though he's incarcerated. I believe that he's in a place in his life where not only he acknowledges like the power of God through the prison walls where he was at, but also through me. And so, I truly, it's not what I believed, it's what I knew. Pretty much.
Say now. I like that. I like the fact how you spoke on that, and you just, the fact that you got a bunch of hustles, you know what I'm saying, and your mind still can be focused on God, you know what I mean? I'm realizing that now, like I'm really feeling good. Like I used to get up, smoke me a blunt, call me up, take me up a little, see if I can knock me something down this week, no cap, you know what I mean? But now, I'm in a different realm. I would have never been able to see this vision if I wasn't focused. You know what I'm saying? If I was focused on cutting something, I was focused on just being in the streets on some other shit, lame shit. You know what I mean? So, and the fact that you still can serve God through all your busy schedule. You're a licensed mental health therapist. Do you want to tell people your morning routine so maybe you can help them out? I got one. I'm gonna share mine too, where I help my mental health out. Because you talked to me about a lot of things. You know what I mean?
So, one thing that I like to like remind people is that it's a difference between like being religious and relationship. Like I'm not religious. I have a relationship with God. So I don't have like these rituals or anything that I follow or what people say that you should be doing, because what I come to realize is that the religion could say do this, but God is leading you to do something totally different. So now you confused and you just like forget it. I'm just about to be out here, turn up what's up. Like I don't even want to deal with none of this foolishness. So you have to be very, very careful about like really being intentional about your relationship with God. So in the morning, typically I wake up and I worship. I worship. I invite the Holy Spirit into my life, into my bedroom, into my house. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not going to say I do it every day, but this is typically the way that I wake up. Because obviously I have a really busy schedule, so some days I'm just like, ooh, got to hurry up and be somewhere. So I pray in the car, so it just really depends. But it's just about being intentional. So I'll wake up and I would just worship, talk to God. I would literally just open my eyes and sit on my bed and just say, God, I thank you for another day, another opportunity. Like, show me in this day. Like, really on set the day. Like if you just wake up and you just every day just putting yourself into the world, like you really opening yourself up for the enemy to just attack you.
Destroy you.
You know what I mean? Like you gotta cover yourself.
Man, that nigga ready too, boy. He be ready to tell
like,
you.
yeah.
Boy, do the Birdman rule. No
Most people get up, they pull their phones out, they on social media, you know, suggesting themselves to all types of foolishness.
No disrespect to the Birdman. They really talking. That's real though.
Yeah, I worship, and then I talk to him, and I have a journal that I write in every day. And this book right here, The Pieces of Success, this has the journal on the back of it. So I give the instructions on the journal. This is something I've literally been doing for years, where I don't journal my thoughts. I journal what God is saying to me. So what that means is like I'll sit there and pray, and then I'll read like a scripture, and then after that I'll get my journal and I'll listen back, because you can only have a conversation or a relationship with someone if it's two people talking. Like we pray and then we get up. It's like you didn't take time to hear what I got to say.
I got that from Patrilla. She gave me a book, Discerning Voice of God.
Okay.
I read
so,
that. And it's like she said in her book the same way. I know that you just so connected in that way. You know what I mean? You know, y'all major people. You know, women talking that voice. And it's just beautiful. How do you do about the fasting? Like one of my brothers,
I'm
he's
wrapping up a fast
he's
right
real
now.
tough. He's a tough guy when it comes to that. One of my bros, like, oh man, yeah, that man know how to. That man will drink water and just no sex for 100 days.
Yeah.
You feel
power
me?
in that.
It's variable. So now, I did it for 30. I tried, I did a little bit.
Yeah.
I crawled for a walk, you know what I mean? I know God was proud of me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's good to have those type of people around you, you know what I mean? Because it could have been on some day, they take somebody's money and I be like, yeah, let's do it. You feel me? So it's good to have this. So how you feel about fasting?
I think that it's necessary. I think that it's powerful. I think that when you fast, you're not just sacrificing for God, but you actually opening yourself up to like hear from him and understand like the process of elevation, because that's what is happening in your life when you fast, because he's having you fast, or the thought, again, we get back to that thought. I'm a therapist, so I'm always go back to the thought. When there's a thought that's initiating in your brain cells, it's like God is like, this is what's happening. This is what I need you to do. So you better believe that the fact that you are taking a moment to fast, to like concentrate yourself before him, there's something that's happening, and there's an elevation that's happening in your life. So I think it's amazing. I think it's necessary. In order for me to get ahead, I need to take a step back. I need to be able to look back and like look at everything and see where I'm at and where I need to go next. You know what I mean? So I'm coming up from a fast right now. I've been on a fast for 40 days. And
40 days, that's what's happening.
No social media, certain
what I was
foods, certain things that I've just let go, and just for a moment, just to like hear from God and see. And not only that, because I really was praying some people out of my life as well.
Yeah, that's true too. How you feel about fasting from people? Like what you?
If I gotta fast from you, I don't need you in my life. I'm gonna be honest with you.
That's true. Yeah, fast. That's a great
you shouldn't be in my life if I have to fast from you.
Yeah, that's great.
You should bring me peace instead of making me
and confusion.
Absolutely.
For sure. Okay.
Yeah.
That's bad. I like that.
Confusion.
Definitely. I like that. So, speaking of, you said something about another man will, what another man won't do. Did generation try to water down marriage or something? Because old people do. They don't really like to. I don't really know how to look at it nowadays either, because I be knowing,
Yeah, it's deep out here.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie, it's rough in these streets.
Yeah, it's rough. It's right. You know what I mean? So that's basically, basically what you could say. Like, if you find it in your heart to do it, do it. But if I don't really try to force people on that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll be honest. I see my mom love halfway. My sister here, she seen her love halfway. You know what I mean? We ain't seen the top tier. You feel me? So it's like if I see my little sister do it, you know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, you feel me? Like, we hadn't seen it, so it kind of like, hell, I don't even know how to do it. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's wicked out here. Temptation. I tell a woman.
Like, we saw it, but we didn't see it from our parents. We saw it from a grandparent's perspective.
Facts.
But even in that aspect, it wasn't from the blood-related father. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's still like the piece of being a child, you're gonna be like, well, I wonder why, like, her dad, though, that's
Right.
her dad, that's the innocent part of you. That's where the trauma, where nobody wants to go back and handle that.
Right, right.
You know, and it's like, well, in the back of my mind, they're like, why didn't my dad marry my mom? Like, why did you think that was okay?
Yeah,
Like, why did you think me being a young woman growing up seeing that? Why should I submit to just being like, okay, I'm okay with being second best? Like, no, I'm never gonna be second best.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like when you stand up to that, it's like, oh, you're a problem.
Yeah,
No, I'm
for
breaking
sure.
a generational curse. I'm breaking a barrier because why do I need to be loved halfway when, okay, it didn't work out with my child's father, so I had to move on. I need to show her something different.
Yeah,
you know.
fact.
So,
Okay,
You
so
better.
I don't get it.
hey, now,
You
so
better.
hey, before we close this off,
No, but
gotta-
let's
go ahead.
stick on that
Yeah, go ahead.
conversation for just 1 second. Like, you know, I don't think people should give up on love. I think that love still exists. I know we live in a really dark world, and you know, I've never seen in life how even adults have been like, you know, like peer pressured, if that makes sense. Like you grow up and you be like, oh, you don't want your kids to be peer pressured at school. Like typically it's connected to like adolescents or children. But in the world of social media now, I feel like even adults now are like easily influenced
yeah.
by other people.
I don't want them to be mad at me, but
It's
I be
true.
having aunties.
And so you
I be
call
having
it peer
not
pressure.
not my auntie. Lord, forgive me. Lord, not my aunties. Ain't on that shit. But I be having 52, 53, 55-year-old women like, baby, you think I should get surgery? You know what I'm saying? You know.
See?
See how it goes. There y'all go get started. See, I ain't want to get started. You know what I mean? But this, you know, this is the show. This is the show. Then we keep it real on Wilson. Will, you know? You know, we keep it.
But I'm saying
Yeah, we keep it.
they're influenced by social media, by
had to tell her,
what
like-
looks normal, what looks beautiful, what looks good, what
she was
looks
like-
accepting.
She was like, she was gonna do that.
I want to be accepted.
Yeah, she said that, and I was like, only thing he's gonna do, Mom, he just gonna have sex with you a little harder. He gonna love turn you around, and had to keep it real with him. You're not going on Sports
Surgery is
Illustrated.
not gonna
You're not
change
going on
just
Sports
like a baby
Illustrated.
won't.
Anyway,
You're not
why?
going on Sports Illustrated. You know what I'm saying, Mom? You're not. It's okay if you got a few rats you want to do it to. I ain't gonna tell you no, cause you feel me. You know, I told her
I mean,
straight
maybe
up.
she wants to do it for
Oh, but-
herself.
No,
I don't know.
I seen
Every
the old
situ-
lady go viral doing it. She'll be my girlfriend. Facts. The 53-year-old lady, that girl, you seen her. Everybody seen her. And have money right. You
Oh,
feel
Lord.
me? So some folks, I feel like they want to do something later on in their life, they can do what they want to do. But some folks want to take their last 10 bands and do it at 50
Yeah,
years old.
that's
basically
when it
what I'm saying.
becomes a problem. Like,
it's
I
the
want to be
internet, you know what I mean?
accepted.
Because I don't have no problem with nobody doing that because, hey, I love beautiful women. You know what I'm saying? But when you get to a certain age, I don't want my grandma, like my mama can say, she, like, my sister, she got like grandkids. My sister dropping the grandkids off. Then mom come up and say, you think that we I need to have surgery. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna know how to take that. Nah, I ain't gonna know how to take that.
Seriously, you know.
Nah, I ain't. I ain't gonna be honest. We just want to crack a
might
few
be
jokes.
trying to get her groove back.
Okay, well,
you
since
know?
we're cracking a few jokes, we're gonna keep a little laughter in here before we end this show. Cause I got one more question from you for about the mental health therapy. But I'm gonna say this to you. We got a couple women in here. You can answer it too, sweetie. We got a couple of them here. So you married, right? If you married to somebody, you with a new dude, right? I ain't saying you got your old dude tatted on you, nothing like that. But say you do got a tattoo across your back, nice, something.
How you
nice.
know I don't?
I don't
I'm
know. You
just
could.
playing.
I don't know. I don't know. You
I'm
could.
kidding.
I don't know. I ain't get into that. But look, my bad. Look, so let's say you got somebody name tatted on your back or whatever, and the new dude is a nice size. You feel me? And the new dude like, all right, y'all, what's the name? And it just bothers him when y'all have sex. Like this shit it's just getting on his nerves. Yeah, like I heard this on the radio. Like chick said nigga left her ass. You heard that? It was I can't. It's a 1079 story. I wish I knew the show 'cause I want to get a lady they critic on the show. It was I don't know. They was reading it off. Yeah, something like. Yeah, the nigga. So how you feel about that? Like if you like when you deal with a man like that, like they insecure. Like if you got a man tatted on you, he'd be like, go get it covered up.
I mean, where are we at in this relationship? We married?
Like,
Me and the guy are married?
like no, not married. Like they wouldn't even get married. It was like a boyfriend. It wasn't even marriage. It was boyfriend. I can't marry you
If
until
you
you.
got this tattoo, but she got like 9 tattoos of the bad.
So it's like
name on
Rashawn,
it.
basically.
No, that's respect. I respect him.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would change it up.
He
What
should
you
never
mean?
even. Well, if he
If
seen like
that's the man
if he
that
seen
you
a
know,
logo, that's a logo.
What?
That's a logo. She got a logo. That many times you said she had
Oh,
9 names. That's a logo.
She got his name everywhere.
Ain't no way in the hell I'm finna do that then.
So that's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm
she
not
needs
gonna
to
I'm
do
not
it.
I'm not finna date her.
If you getting the tattoos, you can cover it up for me.
Man,
I mean, yeah, but
you stay your ass away from me.
How many I just
It's
wanna
like-
You stay your
Oh,
ass
the
away
dude
from me.
passed away.
He died,
See, I didn't know
but
that
she's
part.
still holding on to these tattoos.
Y'all keep it a little.
That's
bit.
it. He died.
He died.
He passed.
It don't matter.
Nah, you
The
can.
tattoos gotta go.
That's
Niggas,
what make
hey, God forbid anything happen, niggas will be done.
But that's the
Are
person
you like,
that's got all the.
Shit, one of my-
It's his name on
Hey,
it.
one of my
Oh,
exes
no,
still,
you gotta go.
one of my exes still 10 years straight, bro. I'm back there. 10
gotta
years.
go.
Shit, my shit been there
Yeah.
10 years. One of my exes.
Yeah.
It's a brand name. I told her never delete it.
Nah, he should that.
I told
yeah.
one of my exes
Here
never
with me
delete my
every
name.
day.
It's on a couple of It's a brand name. It's like Blue Magic. But we'll get to another
I
subject
feel
on that.
like if you know that's the man you want to be with.
Right, like, 'cause you
Wilson
will
with
adjust
Will.
whatever you feel
Yeah.
necessary
Yeah.
for the person you wanna be with.
Okay, so this is the last one right here before we end this. This has been a great interview with this beautiful young lady. Can't wait to see you in San Diego. You know what I mean? Sip me some coffee, walk around San Diego, watch you do your thing, you know? But I got this question for you because I got people I think really want to reach out to you. I think we already had some reach out to you and book some sessions with you on the mental health. A lot of people, they faking. You know what I mean? Before I end this, they faking. A lot of dudes that rap, like I brought my first guest, I like his music. They probably like, and I like their music. Then, you know, I know him, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not a fanboy, you know what I mean? But I'm understanding the pain come through the music. He let me know what his problem, his flaws, even if I talk to him, you know what I'm saying? But when I talk to the big drug lords that make music, you know what I mean? I got the money, I ain't good on no money.
He get
No,
on my nerves.
I'm getting to something with this.
Okay, yeah, it's funny.
You know, yeah. But we never know what's up with your mental health. We never know what they can't get your music. We can't really hear your music. You never give us no more pain. And that one song on your tape might stick out because you giving us the real you. You went through something with your baby mama and it's on this net. We'll never know the real you. Then when something go on and a dude to date your woman or something like that, we'll know that you really love your woman. You really. But to us, you show another character. Ain't no need saying you got to go out here and show your whole face because if you go on a prison yard, you ain't finna go out there and say if it's 100 killers and you know they got 100 life sentences, you damn just scared. You know what I mean? And you act like you can stop that. But when you is, so it's like a lot of people fake it. So is everything confidential? Because I see a lot of people fake it. They'll look on social media, you'll see it, but if they come to you with everything as a mental health therapist, is everything confidential?
Yes, absolutely.
So what if I want to smoke somebody and I ain't saying me? What if somebody said they
The
want to
only
do something to
things
somebody?
I have to
Okay,
report,
yeah.
the only
I knew it was
things,
something. That's why I'm
yeah. So everything is confidential besides if you want to harm a child or an elderly. If you want to harm a child in any way or an elder person. Other than that, I don't have to report it.
Dang,
If you say you about to go home and kill yourself, I don't have to report it.
That's on you.
Yeah. I mean, I would do it. I would do it out of my, integrity. I would contact your family and, try to get you the support that you need. But other than that, no, I don't have to report it
Okay.
by law.
I need to know that.
So with that information being given, though, do you feel like people, especially from our culture, will really start taking therapy? Like,
Yeah, because a lot of people say they don't want to do it because they don't want to they have confidential
Even
problems.
African American.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, in our culture, it's like so looked down upon. Like, oh, I'm not crazy.
Yeah, that's the main
like
thing.
I
people.
need therapy because
Yeah.
Shit, I know I'm fucked up.
I have some trauma.
Oh, I got some problems.
Right, you
Oh, I'm throw it
what
off.
I'm
I've been
saying?
to me.
It's like pressure, so it's like,
Be ready to flash
and
out.
especially for black men. Like, but that's the crazy part because as a culture, we're looking at it like, oh, it's terrible, it's bad. But black men, they suffer when they commit suicide. It's a problem. It's not always just Black Lives Matter or a white cop killed a black. No, because what about when our own men feel the pressure because at home we're not doing right on a woman's perspective, or just the pressure of being
Just
a black
the pressure
man in
of the
America.
world. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
but they don't even, like, as a therapist, how do you even try to encourage people like that?
Well, I just feel like, when it comes to encouraging people to commit to therapy, you have to really think about, like, it's life or death, literally. Like, if I continue to allow these emotions and these things to brawl inside of me, I am risking losing my life, literally. And people don't realize how quick it happens. I mean, I've experienced some things, and I'm just like, I've had my moments where I wish that I could have saved lives or I could have done something differently as a professional. And so as I get asked that question often, if I'm somewhere and they say, well, what do you say to people who don't feel like they need it? Well, ask yourself, like, do I want to live or die?
Mm.
And when you think about it from that aspect, okay, do I want to live or die? Well, Liana, well, I'm living. Okay, yeah, you're living now, but you're suppressing so much inside of you. You're not really taking the initiative to like communicate how you feel, what that looks like. Looking on it from the outside, looking in, allowing somebody to like really engage your life in ways that you cannot, and help to save you. And so, I just think that that will be my answer, like life or death.